Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another broadcast after a long time. Welcome back to the most consistent channel on YouTube. Welcome to the most high effort content and welcome to the most information accurate channel. All of these are obvious lies. Welcome back. Where have I been from the past so many days? Ask me whenever. But where have I been? So I've been nowhere. I just couldn't think of things to say in the vlog. As a matter of fact, I had even started recording for one of the vlogs. I recorded for about 14 minutes. But then I noticed myself getting vulnerable, like a weak bitch. And I have put this filter on myself, which automatically detects whenever I am getting I'm not getting I am getting vulnerable. I've started sharing too much about myself. I'm letting my heart out. It I cut myself off and I stopped talking and I am prompted to stop talking. With that being said, welcome to another broadcast. Good news, my dad retired on the 30th. I was able to kind of, you know, through kind of a celebration or a celebration for his retirement. He is happy, although I am slightly concerned. Now the entire load for running the family smoothly is on me and my wife. And my wife was laid off a few months before. I thought that obviously I'll be able to, get things done and uh, I'll be able to, we'll be able to get a job and all those things, but things keep seem very sketchy as of now. Anyways, I have detected the shutoff filter coming back on, so I'll quickly switch the topic. Let's talk about bikes and cars. When I say bikes and cars, the first thing that automatically comes to my mind is the Tata Safari Petrol Edition. So all those who don't know the Tata Safari Petrol Edition, the Sierra Petrol, basically the petrol engine was birthed basically as a engine or as a heart for the Sierra. And in the Sierra, I think it has something around 150 or 155 or 160 horsepower and some 250 to 60 Newton meters of torque. And in the Safari, it is ramped up to match the power of the diesel counterpart, which is 170 horsepower approx. I think it is something around 167 horsepower. And then the torque is lower, which is 280 Newton meters as compared to the 350 Newton meters in the diesel. Now, since we have started talking about the diesel, and I myself have gotten a Safari, and I don't remember if I've covered this point in the previous video, but the Tata Safari uses a diesel engine which is manufactured by Stellantis, something like that, basically Fiat Group. And initially this was also criticized a lot when the Tata Safari was launched, that when it was countered to the version which it was replacing, which is Safari Storm. Again, true SE, ladder and frame chassis, independent suspension, features of features no. It was coming in a four-wheel drive with rear-wheel drive being standard. And it had the 2.4 liter Safari Storm as a 2.4 liter Diesel, which was the same engine in one of its semi-mini, I can say. So the 402 is the standard pickup truck which Tata offers. It also offers a mini pickup truck which is kind of it looks like a tempo traveler from the front slightly, and yeah, so there's that. So the Tata Safari Storm had that 2.4 diesel engine which wasn't down tuned at all, and this engine was being replaced by a Fiat engine, and the people were fuming, and by people I mean obviously me, and I mean a few people, but since this is not verified, I'm going to speak from my perspective. Remember when I was, before considering the Tata Safari, I was considering the XUV 700, and I was even convincing a few people that the Tata Safari is not a good vehicle. It is front wheel drive. It is front wheel drive, and the engine is the Tata has not even made its own engine, and so on and so forth. But during my research, obviously, I found out that the Tata Safari's engine, the Tata Safari's basically chassis and suspension is exactly the same as that of Range Rover Discovery or Land Rover Discovery. And I'm gonna explain. I don't remember if I explained or not, but I'm gonna explain. A few people who might be watching this video, which are none obviously, but still, I'm gonna pretend there are people. Anyways, getting back to the point. To anyone who thinks that, how is this possible? The Range Rover Discovery is north of 1 CR or approaching 1 CR. I don't really know, but yeah, it should be approaching 1 CR. And then how can it, how can it have the same? How can the Tata Safari, in which the topmost variant comes in 32 lakhs, how can the same engine have how can the same how can both these cars have the same chassis? How is this possible? And yeah, this is possible because something known by a factor known as scale. So what is scale? If a part is produced enough, by production I mean if a part, let's say, I'm not gonna, if I begin explaining the basic terms, then this video will be very long, and I really don't have anywhere to go. So by produced, if a part is manufactured in enough quantity after a certain amount of quantity and after a certain amount of selling of that particular part, its cost reduces and it eventually approaches zero for the manufacturer. So the Discovery has been sold a lot, and the Discovery, obviously, a lot of money goes into developing a car in R&D. So while the Discovery was being sold, it had quickly hit break even, and then it had also began to gain profit. And finally, I think it was stopped in 2006 or 2009, something like that. And now, since Tata has acquired Land Rover, Range Rover, Jaguar, so what has happened now is that they have bought the Discovery or the D5 platform, and because it has been sold a lot already, and they have already recovered all of its cost, all of its original cost, so they were able to sell it or get it in the Tata Safari on a much cheaper price tag. The suspension, obviously, might not be exactly the same, It should be the same actually, but then again, same logic of scale. So again, let's say now in my Himalayan, they are using the Showa suspension, but then eventually they start studying the suspension and they develop the suspension themselves at a much cheaper price and they obviously sell it at the scale. So even though it is not branded by Showa, it will have 90% of its characteristics. It might obviously lack a little tuning, but then that is compromisable. So that's the method how Tata was able to get the D5 platform of the Discovery in the Land Rover. And there is a similar logic, the Gurkha. Oh my god, this is such a nice vehicle. I'm gonna speak about this as well today. And that's how and similar logic has also been followed with the Stellantis 2.0 or 1996cc power plant inside the diesel. How, you might ask? So the another thing of buying vehicles is that whenever I used to think that this is a bad thing, but I quickly realized that the more a particular component is used in different assemblies, the more reliable it is. Meaning, if the same part is used in different vehicles under different names, then the reason behind that is because it is obviously proven and it is extremely reliable. And that exactly is the logic for the 2.0 liter diesel engine manufactured by Stellantis. So this particular engine is a part of the Jeep Compass line. This particular engine is a part of the MG Hector and the MG Hector Plus line. This particular engine obviously is a part of the Tata Harrier and the Tata Safari line. It has been part of these lines for almost 5 years now. I remember the Tata Safari being launched in 2020, something like that, the initial version, and ever since that it has been using the same engine. The Jeep Compass was launched approximately during around the same time, being used in the same engine. But not only this, what if I told you that the 2.0 liter engine is a down-tuned and the way it is used in the Safari and the MG Hector and the Jeep is down-tuned. Again, let me explain another basic of engineering. How down-tuning works basically, let's say I have an engine. Okay, like what was the case in the Toyota Fortuner and the Toyota Innova during its BS4 variant. It was the same engine, but the Toyota Innova had a single turbocharger. That was not the case obviously, but yeah. So, let me explain about this Stellantis power plant. So the Tata Safari, the MG Hector and MG Hector Plus, the Tata Harrier and the Jeep, all have this engine with a single turbocharger. Because of it, it generates 167 horsepower and 350 Newton meters of torque. But the same engine, when twin turbocharged, generates approximately 210 horsepower and approximately 500 Newton meters of torque. And you might be saying that this might be some sort of tuning or some sort of alteration done, or one particular person must have done it. That doesn't mean that this engine is capable that much. But no, you are obviously wrong. This configuration is mass produced. Meaning, in the MG Gloster, in the MG, which is the new variant of the Gloster launched, that one, this houses the 2.0 liter Stenolis engine, exactly same engine, but the twin turbocharger configuration. And since this configuration is mass produced, what this means is that it is capable of even more. Because whenever anything is mass produced, it is produced by a factor of safety of at least 1.5 to 2, meaning power generator is approximately 1.5 to 2 times less than what it can generate. So yeah, really, I need to obviously deep dive in this. I was thinking about deep diving in this a few days back, but then I got caught in something and then I completely forgot about this. What I wanted to deep dive is obviously I wanted to research whether the only difference between these two configurations is that of a tuning, obviously, and a turbocharger. And no internal components, no internals, nothing else has been changed. I mean, it shouldn't be changed technically because that will simply add labor cost to this particular assembly, and then you know since it will add labor cost, it will then increase the cost while being transitioned from one particular assembly to another, whereas just fitting an additional turbocharger is much easier because everything that is done externally. So that's the specialty of the Stenolis sourced or the Seat sourced 2.0 liter diesel engine. But we aren't talking about the diesel engine as of now. We are talking about the 1.5 liter petrol. Initially, from my perspective, obviously, because there is no displacement, no replacement for displacement, and so obviously, one might think that the 1.5 liter petrol power plant which is used inside the Tata Safari and the Tata Harrier is pulling more than its capacity, and it is being pushed a lot and all those things. But there are already videos surfacing the internet, and there is video of Tata itself claiming that this engine can smoothly push 170, 180 kilometers per hour on a highway, and then it can also generate an efficiency of north of 20. So from a middle class standpoint, that's a really good configuration. And yeah, that's really good. And that's pretty much it about the Tata Safari and the Tata Harrier. Now let's say this video one day blows up. Then there will be a few people commenting on this video that look at this guy, he has gotten a Tata himself, so he has become a fanboy. I mean, obviously, I have become a fanboy. Not a fanboy actually, I have become a fan of my vehicle. And I have, fallen deeply for the vehicle. But this is me just uncovering facts after buying the vehicle and learning that okay, what a machinery I have bought and nothing else. And just to balance out everything, I'll now also speak about the Mahindra power plant. The Mahindra power plant is even more brutal when it comes to reliability because the same 2.2 liter Hawk or whatever they are calling it. 2.2 liter diesel engine is the only engine you can say is being used in Mahindra as of now. The 2.2 liter diesel engine is used not only in the Scorpio and I'm speaking about the diesel engine by the way. The 2.2 liter engine is not only used in the XUV7XO or the 700 and the Scorpio N, but the same engine with slight downtune is also used in the Scorpio Classic. It's also used in the Mahindra pickup trucks, and that's a brutally impressive portfolio to have for the same engine to be used in such a wide range of SUVs. And that exactly is the reason why they have been able to refine the diesel engine and they have been able to extract performance and refinement of that engine up to such an extent where if you leave the diesel engine of the Mahindra, lineup on idle, it will generate the exact same amount of voice or vibration or NVH levels like that of a petrol engine in a Tata vehicle or any other vehicle. I will go ahead and say that the NVH levels in the diesel engine of the Mahindra lineup is less than the petrol NVH levels of the 1.2 liter petrol engine in the Tata lineup. And it is also on par with the refinement levels of Kia and Hyundai or Hyundai, whatever you choose to call it. So there's that. And yeah, it's really refined, but then this is obviously my opinion, and this has nothing to do with actual facts. But what I feel is that when you refine a particular engine or a diesel engine needs room, it likes to breathe a lot. It likes to so the combustion cycle inside or the power generation cycle, if I were to put it in simple terms, in a diesel and a petrol engine are entirely different. In the diesel engine, the fuel self-combusts due to the pressure, whereas inside the petrol engine, it is combusted with the help of a spark plug. That's why, due to self-combustion, the diesel engine likes a lot of air because air is a good conductor of combustion. And that's why, I think that since Mahindra is trying to bring down the NVH levels, the engine idles pretty low, and all those things, what I think that because of this refinement, the engine inside the Mahindra lineup, especially the XUV7XO and the Scorpion lineup, is under a lot of stress or a lot of pressure. And that's exactly the same reason why, down the line the reliability might reduce. But that's my opinion. And there's nothing to do with any sort of a fact or any sort of a research. Anyways, since we are talking about car, I would also, since we're talking about the 7-seater segment, so this vehicle that I've gotten, my Safari is, I've gotten a, let's just put it this way, that I've gotten, okay, I'll not say it in my sense, but, but I've still got my point across. So, for me to buy, initially my budget to buy any particular vehicle was approximately 22, 23 or maximum 25 lakhs. Max 25 lakhs should also be a stretch, and then I had planned my finances in such a way that my monthly EMI would be less than 20,000 or 20,000. So considering that, I had a few options in my mind, and the option which I was strongly considering was the Kia Carens or the Carens or whatever you're calling it. My SVP, I'm my reporting manager, has this Kia Carens, and it has a lot of. It's a really good family car. It is refined a lot. It is refined a lot. It is easy to drive. There are no blind spots. You can look around easily. It has a lot of space to sit inside. I mean, that's why the Kia Carens is used a lot in what was that word? In cabs, basically, because it has a lot of space and it can accommodate 7 people comfortably without none of the people feeling fatigue, or in longer distance might get uncomfortable or something like that sitting in the third row. The AC vents are proper, they are located on the roof, which is the best position. The roof and the pillar is the best position to have ACs. And why is that? Because when the higher the AC, the better the cooling inside the vehicle. And those central compartment ACs, they are not that efficient. They don't provide that much cooling. But the roof ones are the best technically. So yeah, there's that. So uh, uh, the Kia Carens, I was concerned the Kia Carens Clavis DCT version, the petrol one obviously, because lots of mileage. No, I mean the way things are going and the way our country is moving, considering fuel and all those things, I think petrol will be much easily available in India as compared to the diesel counterparts. So with that being said, obviously the Kia Carens Clavis was a very good option. Lots of room, lots of space, very easy to drive, lots of features, 6 parking sensors in the front, 6 parking sensors at the back. And with the Kia Seltos, the latest installment of the Kia Seltos, Kia has proven that it not only was obviously very keen with respect to the quality parameters, the panel gaps and the uniformity across different vehicles was exceptional in Kia, but then there was a constraint of the material feeling plasticky and the material feeling non-premium, and you immediately got that feeling that you are sitting in a budgeted vehicle. And a lot of times people who wanted to who are in the game for Maruti Suzuki vehicles were considering Kia to be a slight of an upgrade from Maruti, and that's why they're going for Kia because it had a better brand value, slightly better materials and all those things. But with the latest installment of the Kia Seltos, Kia has broken past all these parameters. The interior feels extremely premium. It feels more premium than the premium SUVs such as XU7, XU1. I'll even go ahead and say that the interior is even better and most of all more refined than the Tata Safari, and might even be more refined than the Mahindra counterparts. So that was a consideration that I was having for the family to buy the Kia Carens Clavis and all those things. But Without a doubt, the Tata Safari is a superior product. I mean, there are a lot of cracks and a lot of discrepancies in the Tata after service lineup and all those things. And I myself have been frustrated because of that. But yeah, the product is definitely superior. So with that being said, the Kia Carens, if you are someone who's a family of, let's say, 6 or 7, and you're looking for a great family car, or let's say you're a family of 4 and want a lot of space in the rear, and then occasionally the provision for additional 2 people to sit, because let's face it, all these 7-seaters, other than apart from obviously the Volkswagen Taycan, I think, which is a 7-seater version which they have launched in 50 lakhs. Apart from these vehicles, only those 50 lakh vehicles are proper 7-seater vehicles, other than the Innova, obviously. Rest all of these vehicles are 5+2, 5 being the proper seating that can sit in the vehicle, and 2, if you sit the remaining 2 people, then you don't have any space for luggage, which is obviously not that much of a case in the Kia Carens and the Innova lineup, because they have a lot of space, even if the third row is up. So there's that. Next up is the BMW 450 GS. The 450 GS was a vehicle which I was deeply excited about, and I was looking forward to get that vehicle. Not looking forward, I mean looking forward to recommend others to get the vehicle, let me be clear. But then I think the top variant, where they have this centrifugal clutch thingy going on, even if the vehicle is in gear, you don't need to press any clutch, because the centrifugal clutch engages and disengages the clutch as per the RPM. I don't really like that feature. The suspension travel for the vehicle is somewhere around 150 mm only. I expected more from the BMW lineup. I expected this particular lineup to have suspension travel north of 200 mm. So that's a disappointment for me. But the engine apparently is very nice. But I think it is nerfed by the centrifugal clutch. And this offering is only there in the top model. So I think you should go for the lower model and then get it upgraded with the aftermarket parts, or even BMW's own parts, and not go for the centrifugal clutch. And I'm not speaking this in terms of reliability or maintenance concerns or the part life concerns. No, none of that. Obviously the bike will have to hit the market and will have to be reviewed by professionals, and then I can comment on that. But I think it takes away the feel of the bike. I think it takes away the feel of the bike. And for me, I am someone who prefers bikes over. I mean, I had the money to buy an automatic vehicle, but I got a manual one, so because I need the feel of the vehicle to be present, and I need the vehicle drive to be engaging. I need the vehicle to be punishing if you make mistake. I need the vehicle to stall if I drive it incorrectly. I need to have that control over the vehicle, and with the introduction of the centrifugal clutch, all these things have slightly reduced the feel of the vehicle. I mean, the clutch is the most difficult part inside a manual vehicle, and that has just gone off. Although from a marketing standpoint, this is the most excellent decision that BMW has taken. It will, make their product more desirable for people who wish to drive manuals, but obviously since the clutch is the most difficult part, find the clutch judgment to be the most difficult to get adapted to. And when you want to buy vehicles, but because of the constraint of powerful vehicles, and but because of the constraint of this clutch thing, cannot buy since they don't know how to drive. So this will obviously attract a lot of these customers. But for me, it's kind of Plus, I think it comes standard in alloy option with respect to maintenance and all that. Obviously, that's a great deal, but if you're making an offer like, how can you give alloy wheels? Alloy wheels will fail under too much load, and they are not the most reliable option for the same. So there's that. I have a behemoth of a vehicle in front of me, the Toyota Hilux. This currently, for me or for any automotive enthusiast, is the most go-to vehicle. It is the most raw vehicle, the most reliable vehicle, Toyota obviously, and the most desirable vehicle and the most rugged vehicle. I mean, obviously it is designed like a pickup, so undoubtedly it is a workhorse. It is designed to carry a lot of load. The suspension is designed to carry a lot of load. So if someone is using it regularly or for occasional off-roading or all those things, it automatically becomes a lot more desirable. So there's that. So yes, the BMW 450 GS, really good engine. They have done something with the firing order of the piston, which makes the bike sound more grunty, and has a very nice pitch as well. Since it is a parallel twin engine, obviously it will be much more refined and will have much less NVH levels. It has a lot of power, I think. I haven't checked the power figures. I think it has something around 45 or 48 horsepower and something around 50 newton meters of torque. Himalayan 450 has a 452cc engine, honestly, and it has a since it is in the 450cc range, it has the same it, and the BMW, I think it is not a 450, something around 420 or 430cc parallel twin, and if it still manages to deliver greater power than the Himalayan, then that's a really good offering. So no complaints with the engine. My only complaint is with the suspension travel and the configuration in which it is been offered as default. Hello. don't know if the recording is stopped or it is still going on. I am very close to the office. I cannot be bothered to check it otherwise. But assuming that the recording is still going on because it has been recording through a third party app and not the camera launcher, so I'm gonna assume that it is still recording. So yeah, the BMW 450 GS is a really good option. Great engine, but isn't desirable for me because of its configuration. I think they offer the tubeless alloys as an accessory, or tubeless spokes as an accessory, but the front wheel is 2-inch lesser than the Himalayan, than what any normal off-road focused bike offers. I think the Himalayan offers 21 inches and that has 19 inches, or the Himalayan offers 19 inches and that offers 17 inches, something like that. And that brings me to the Enduro R as well. Really good topic to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about it right now because I am about to reach my office and I'm not sure if this thing is recording or not. So I will stop the recording when I get the chance to stop. And I think I'll stop right here after making this U-turn. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. It was a pleasure talking with everyone, of which as of now there is absolutely no one. Thank you and goodbye.